Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in the new world order, saying he was speaking as a proud citizen of the world, of the world, of the world.
It is a big idea. It is a big idea. A new world order.
Hello friends, I am the Anti-Terrorist. Thank you for all of your emails and messages of support and for staying part of the conversation. On Thursday night, the 8th of April 2010, the UK government forced through the controversial Digital Economy Bill, which now means it's fast-tracked for royal assent and then it becomes a fully enforceable statute, and all after only 2 hours of debate. Want to see how packed the House of Commons was? There are essentially two parts to this story, one of which is hopeful and the other insulting. Hopeful because, with the internet, there's always a workaround. Your access may be slower, or it may cost you more money, but all this legislation only ups the game for pirates and programmers. More to the point, the government is insulting you, repeatedly. You elected them to serve you, and instead they serve the interests of corporations first. They've pushed through the legislation that big business has bought and paid for, and despite the deafening demands of the people. If you ever had any doubt about this, or dismissed it as a tinfoil hat theory, open your eyes. It's happening right in front of you. Over the past 9 years, your government has broken cover repeatedly, and with rapidly diminishing respect for what you desire. And they're no longer even bothering to claim for your protection from terrorism as a reason anymore. And what may be most horrifying is that you've elected representatives who have no clue how the internet actually works, yet they don't hesitate to do everything they can to restrict your access to obtaining and sharing files and information freely. Let's look at the bigger picture. In the mid-90s, the internet became the fastest growing medium since the Gutenberg press for empowering the average Joe to communicate directly with the world, without needing to rely upon corporate-controlled mainstream media who spoon-feed their agenda-driven information. Everyone utilizing the internet became a potential author and publisher, limited only by their own talent in clearly communicating their message. Now, understandably, this made the people in charge of controlling information via the major media very nervous. And before our American friends sit back and say,
"Internet censorship? It's okay, it's only happening in the UK."
I would say it's time to take off your America-centric blinders and step up for a quick lesson. It can, and it will, and it does happen to you, on a daily basis. The tactics of the corporate-driven American government taught the current UK government everything it knows about railroading through issues without a referendum, and in near total opposition of the wishes of the people who elected them. Even the term used in the UK to describe the punitive process attached to the Economy Bill, the 3 strikes rule, is directly attributed to the American game of baseball. So who are the players? What is the agenda and what are they threatening us with? Allow me to set the scene. You're sitting at home on a Saturday night, doing whatever it is you do on the internet, and meanwhile someone parked outside your house with a laptop, or one of your neighbors in your apartment building has latched onto your Wi-Fi and is busily downloading movies and music via torrent. Now, before the Digital Economy Bill, lawyers had to go after the infringers with a quaint little notion I like to call actual proof. Remember being innocent until proven guilty? Well, that's gone now. Since last Thursday in the UK, the holder of the internet account will be held liable for what happens over their connection. An internet service provider is defined as a person who provides an internet access service, and a subscriber is defined as a person who receives the service under an agreement between the person and the provider of the service, and does not receive it as a communications provider. All it takes is an accusation from the corporation, and the internet service provider can say, "Not our fault." Then the hammer will drop on the account holder. That's you. 3 strikes and you're out. Banned for life from accessing the internet from your home. No trial and no argument in a court will ever be heard. You'll be declared guilty, suffer punishment, and you'll never once be allowed to protest your innocence. Welcome to corporate totalitarianism. And the players? the architects of these statutes? A case in point. In the UK, the Labour Party took a photo of actor Philip Glenister as Gene Hunt from the television series Ashes to Ashes, then photoshopped in David Cameron's face and put it on a poster. The Conservatives took Labour's image, changed the words into something that suited them, and put it on their own poster. The problem is that it appears neither party bothered with the trivial matter of getting approval from the copyright holders. But wait, it's worse than you thought. If you've even looked at both posters online, that's 2 of your 3 strikes, and all courtesy of the representatives you've elected, who've designed and support the Digital Economy Bill. Completely clueless, astonishingly hypocritical, and a classic case of do as I say and not as I do. Would you like an example of just how clueless your representatives are? The Right Honourable Stephen Timms MP thinks the IP in IP address stands for Intellectual Property Address, despite the fact that in August of 2009 he was put in charge of Digital Britain. These are the types of people in charge of how and where and under what restraints we'll be allowed to share information with one another. Britain has a list of blocked sites, and the German government is considering similar measures. But when a government wants to control the flow of information across its borders, it's no longer enough to block access to websites hosted elsewhere. Online images and messages shared through social networking sites is rampant, and repressive governments are turning to technologies that allow them to scan such content from their own citizens, packet by packet, line by line, and image by image. In the US, the National Security Agency has such capability, employed as part of the Bush administration's terrorist surveillance program. The White House refuses to comment on if or how this is being used under the present administration. As part of efforts to block spam and viruses, corporations, schools, and other institutions routinely inspect and filter internet traffic. Individual home accounts use filters as well in their home computers to protect children from undesirable sites. Filtering and scanning traffic is already a fact of life. But as you may already suspect, your government goes several steps further. Deep packet inspection involves inserting equipment into a flow of online data, from emails and internet phone calls to images and messages on social networking sites such as Facebook and Twitter. Every digitized packet of online data can be deconstructed, examined for keywords, and reconstructed within milliseconds. This all adds up to a 3-part attack upon us: to protect and increase revenue for big business, to keep people from empowering themselves with information unregulated by major media, to frighten people into complying with their agenda with the threat of guilty with no chance to ever prove your innocence. Now, in essence, this is not about your protection. It's about big business fearing they're losing money, and governments insulting the people who elected them by protecting the interests of big business first. And more to the point, your government has just placed a bet that you, the people, are too stupid, too lazy, too apathetic, too drugged, too sedentary, and too hypnotized by television to care. They're betting that you'll stand by while they enact statutes like the Digital Economy Bill, or Obamacare, or anything with the words homeland or security or terrorism attached to it. Your government is betting on you to just change the channel or pop another Prozac, or simply tune out and think it's someone else's problem, and that it couldn't happen to your country because, hey, you're free. And so far, your government is winning this bet. The Digital Economy Bill is the desperate behavior of a government who doesn't understand its people, doesn't understand the internet or the technology that drives it, and actively fears the way you may cause trouble for them if you speak freely amongst yourselves. Your government wants to turn the internet into another version of commercial television and print media, with all the same controls they now have over both, and are prepared to play hardball to protect the interests of their bosses. Not you, the people, but big business. The Digital Economy Bill accuses most of the population of criminal intent, with no right to prove their innocence, and was railroaded through a government process to the roaring sound of crickets. Your government has just openly declared war upon you, and in the name of free access to information, I thought you ought to know. Thanks for listening.
People better understand that they mean exactly what they're saying. It's a new world order they're trying to create, and they're trying to do so not only without approval or consent of the government in this country, but despite the popular will. This is a straightforward assault by the elitists in this country.